Goeiedag allemaal. Good day, everybody. Welcome to our session. I don't have a pre-recorded video, but I want to just, as the waiting room fills up, quickly highlight a few benefits of the Center for Technology, and I want to show you how to get them. I'm going to share my screen and quickly show you the latest TechTalk magazine that's available from the Center for Technology. If you go to the FEDSAS website, you haven't received the link, you go to the FEDSAS website, there's a rolling banner there, you click until you see the magazine Time to Build, the tech magazine, you hit the button, say read the magazine here, and it's an easy read. It's so much fun. We really try and put the work of the center uh, front of mind here. Number one, we want to put specialized knowledge into the space. Number two, we want to put special focus into the space. And number three, we want to bring you solutions. And that's why we have tech talks with some of our members. You can see the magazines focusing on time to build. The FEDSAS theme for the year is excited about tomorrow, but there's a time in the second year of the SGB cycle, we believe it's good that you put down a few markers in the ground and say it's time to build, make a difference, leave the school in a better place than when you found it. As we page through it online, this is not a newsletter, it's not a quick read, it's actually something to bookmark for later as well. So it's about 100 pages. I think this one has 94 pages. And you will see that we've got some of our solution providers there, some editorials on tech issues. We're working with the acronym BUILD. Um, some more of our tech solutions. And today's guest in the session is Yenza, a great solution, and we'll talk more about that. Some opinion pieces that we've got there, input from our legal team. This is a great one. AI assessment and academic integrity, how we use ChatGPT or AI tools. So yeah, good read, good fun. Make sure you spend time with it, and please share it with a wider audience, with your wider team. It's mailed to our SGB members on our database, but you're welcome to share it with anyone in your team. So with that being said, that's kind of the little intro. The link will be in the chat box. If you haven't downloaded, haven't read it, haven't shared it on, please take a look at our most recent edition of the Tech Talk magazine. I think our waiting room is now empty, and we've got some of our members here. We're on a meeting platform today. So those of you that want to, you're welcome to open up your cameras. Be cognizant of the fact that if your mic is open, we will be able to hear that. But this is a discussion, and with us today, Tech Talk today, is Jared Molko from Yenza. He's a familiar face and a good friend of the Center for Technology. So welcome, Jared. We're really glad to have you with us today. Maybe just as we start, my name is Riaan van der Bergh. I'm Deputy CEO at FEDSAS, heading up the Center for Technology, and today's session will be mainly in English. Ons kan ook Afrikaans praat, but that's where my abilities end. But please participate in the conversation. Use the chat box at the bottom. Give us some feedback or questions. Jared is going to do a presentation, but then we'll take some questions from the audience. Yeah, so any resources we'll share in the chat box. Raise your hand. We'll glad to open up a discussion forum rather than just a presentation session. Jared, as we talk Yenza, I think I looked at our first webinar in the past week. 2020, February 2020. We met each other just before lockdown, and later on in that year we had our first what do you call it? Webinar online session. I think it was pre Zoom. It was probably still GoToMeeting or something. And our first discussion that we had, yeah, got me thinking. I think somewhere halfway through the discussion, you said Yenza wants to fix unemployment, and my scanners just went wild. Unemployment is rife in the media. It's rife in the economy, but there's a big debate going on. Is unemployment really the official rate, around about 32% or 40% for those in 18 through 35? And then some business people are saying, but the country is hustling. There's a lot of money flowing, and that might not be. Just connect the dots for us. How does economic activity and employability and Yenza come together?
Um, so I mean, I think the one thing that we definitely see on our side is the different kind of attitude that young people have towards work. And what is definitely prevalent and popular is this idea of gig work, the gig economy, freelancing, digital nomad, hustle culture, um, and people are also very comfortable with doing project-based type work. So,
Mm.
I do think that there's validity to what they're talking about. These are the kinds of things at a kind of census macro level are very difficult to measure. But on a kind of youth perspective, I think a lot of people are doing project-based work. It's very easy with the various kinds of tools and technologies and apps. There's a app that is very popular called Money for Jam, and they put out these very quick briefs, and people submit and they do the work. They get paid in cash or they get e-walleted, and it's impossible to actually measure any of that stuff. So I think it's probably somewhere in the middle. I don't think, we're at a 10% ratio. I think that's highly optimistic, but maybe it's not as bad as people make out.
Yeah. I think what I'm hearing from you and what my deduction is, knowing my kids and people around me, is uh, I think fundamentals might have shifted. What is traditional is no longer,
Yeah,
or what was traditional is no longer the yeah, what do you call it, the preferred route. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that kids understand themselves more. They're in a global village. They know what they want, and the system, the cookie cutter scenario, does not work for everyone, and they want to focus earlier. They're exposed to a lot of things online, and just, yeah, a generational model. And I think that's where Yenza, for me and my kids, have gone through that, gives tools. And I want to lead in with this. Share with us what's new at Yenza. It's not a new product for us, but you have added to the bottom of the age group and you've added to the top of the age group. Yenza helps us understand ourselves better and find a career path. How do you do this? And what's new at Yenza? And I'm going to throw it over to you and say, just take us through your presentation. And once again,
awesome.
any comments or questions, throw it in the chat box. The audience, welcome to participate in this discussion.
Great. Thanks, Riaan. And thanks everyone for joining. I appreciate it. I know everyone's pretty busy. Exam season now. Hopefully things are dying down a little bit. For those that aren't marking. But yeah, so we've Riaan and FEDSAS have been ambassador and supporter of the work that we've been doing pretty much since day one, as Riaan mentioned, and I think Riaan sees the need and the gap that we're addressing. We started off focusing in the high school space because our original hypothesis is that when you're starting to ask a child to start select their subjects, you're essentially asking them to pick a career path at the age of 13, 14 years old, um, which is quite a thing to ask. So um, this is where we started, and we're a very ambitious company. And we are looking at all of the critical transition points for a young person. And so this year, what we've launched is we're going younger and we're going older, and we're creating an entire ecosystem and suite of solutions that can take someone from grade six all the way to a degree through the various tool solutions that we offer. And that's what I'm going to run through with you guys today. I apologize in advance that I'm going to go through a lot of information and I'll probably speak quite quickly. But the goal is for you just to get an idea and a sense of what it is that we're doing, and it hopefully will pique your interest in for different use cases. And we're always available to have follow-on conversations, and we'll open up for discussion once the presentation is done. Cool. So let me share my screen. Great. Can
All
you
good.
see this
We
present?
see your
You
screen.
see it? Great.
Perfect.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, so when we're thinking about career pathing, we think about critical transitions. And you essentially have three critical transitions from primary school into high school and from high school into higher education. Now, what we've learned and realized is that it's very, very challenging for someone to be the leader of their school and then transition into grade 8, where they have to start all over again, especially when they're going through such a critical biological and emotional change at the age of around 11, 12 years old. And so a lot of young students really struggle with this transition. These were statistics that we pulled out from various sources. Around 60% of learners struggle with stress in transitioning into high school with all the different social dynamics and academic demands and various other things. And as a result, around 30% of learners don't perform as well as they were performing in primary school. I know this was the case for me. Then within the secondary space, and this is the space that we've been operating in for the last 5.5 years, these stats have remained the same. So the first stat was given to us by the Department of Basic Education, which is for us very alarming. If you're looking at youth unemployment from a systemic perspective, around 80% of the youth coming through our entire education system don't have access to formal career services. And what we mean by formal is qualified career services or formal career services or formal service providers. So young people are having to figure out this stuff on their own, either through teachers or through parents. A lot of these parents are first generation and don't really have the knowledge or experience to help out. If you look at the numbers, it's on average around 3,500 learners to one qualified counselor. So there's literally just not enough people on the ground to service the need. And we also know a big dropout or inflection point in high school is around grade 9. And between grade 9 to 12, around 35% of students are dropping out of high school. If
Jared,
you
can I
may,
interrupt?
yeah, sure, sure.
Maybe just to highlight the critical issues. All kids are not the same at the same age, and I'm talking about the gender divide. I think you mentioned that you were underperforming in primary school, and we see that there's a difference between boy child, girl child in performance, in attendance, and engagement. But the drop-off rate uh, is the alarming one, where a lot of people are concerned about teenage pregnancy, and this the
Yeah,
drop-off
the
rate is
big
far
one.
more in grade 10 on the male learner. So male learners are dropping off at a higher rate than female learners grade 10, grade 11, which
Interesting.
one other way around. And that's also DBE stats that's published in, if anyone is interested, the Education in Numbers report that we've put out, where we just analyzed the DBE, but it speaks to this 100%.
Yeah, and I mean, on the male side, my assumption is that these are young boys that are getting to some form of a working age where they actually have to drop out in order to support themselves and or their family. Um, and then the other part of it is that, and this part really frustrates me, and it's something that we're trying to solve for, is um, when you're getting into that FET phase of grade 10 to 12, it's purely an academic track. And what we're doing a terrible job at. The government has obviously invested a lot of money into these vocational TVET colleges, but we do a terrible job of pathwaying students into TVETs, because you can start at a TVET college once you've completed your grade 9. So for your FET phase, you can actually go straight into becoming a plumber or an electrician, where these kids really struggle academically and just ultimately just get despondent and land up dropping out.
Yeah. No.
So that is part of the issue that we are trying to address. Um, and then if you are able and make it through to grade 12, then you've got the next very difficult transition, which is to actually get into higher education. And I think you mentioned it before we started, Riaan. It's the acceptance rates for universities is hovers between the 7 to 10% mark.
Mm.
And there's a massive capacity issue. And you'll see some stats as I go through the presentation. We just don't have enough capacity to service the number of students coming through. Difficult for a lot of students to get graduate passes. Then a lot of students are making the wrong courses, wrong choices in terms of courses, which lead to around 50% dropout rates. And the average completion time, 30% of students are completing their courses on time. That's a very, very alarming stat, and it hurts the universities from a financial perspective because they have to bear those costs. So, this is when we look at the problem for like youth unemployment and pathwaying people into the world of work, these are the stats that I see as quite alarming. Now, how do you translate that into simple numbers? Well, this was done from an amazing UNESCO report where they looked at, in South Africa, they looked at the average numbers, and they modeled out that for every 100 grade sevens, based on these different difficult transitions, only 3 land up earning a diploma or a degree. That's how drastic this drop off is. And this is really what we're looking to try and address. And so, from our perspective, we used some interesting AI modeling here to try and create a hypothesis of how we could improve this. And we said that if we could build someone's self-confidence up in terms of their self-awareness and self-confidence by getting through to grade 9, give them the right tools and resources to make better choices through grade 9 into grade 12, help build their foundational skills that they would need to do well within not just high school, but the tertiary environment. This goes to digital literacy, English literacy, learning how to learn the foundational skills that you need, and then matching the right people to the right courses. How could we improve that number of 3 out of 100? And the model that we got is we would be able to add another 5 students out of 100 that would get to that diploma degree level. So what does that translate to in South Africa? That translates into impacting 2.6 million lives. And that's really like the goal that we're looking towards. But we like to break it down into simple numbers here for ourselves to really understand the problem at hand. So what we are endeavoring to do as we continue to grow and evolve is to create a suite of solutions that support every one of these critical transitions. And so this is what the solution looks like in a very simple, summarized way. The senior product, which is for our high schools, is the one that we've been operating in for the last 5.5 years. And as I mentioned before, we've now just launched our primary school product, which is targeted specifically for grade 6s and 7s, as well as our online academy, which you can actually start from the age of 16, where you can study with us to earn diplomas and degrees. And we'll also be very soon introducing our parent portal, where we support parents with various kinds of career tools, developmental courses, as well as access to coaches and mentors. So this is the entire Yenza ecosystem and suite of solutions. And I'm just going to go into a bit of the detail across each of them. So for our primary school solution, we look at it very much as a bridging program or bridging offering for your grade 6s and 7s, but primarily for your grade 7s. Grade 6s is nice, but it's very, very useful for your grade 7s. We focus on 3 tracks of self-awareness and self-management, introducing the world of work, and then getting prepared for high school, where we look at the foundational skills of English and digital literacy, study skills, and very importantly, we're introducing subject choices earlier on. And we've been in the high school space working with schools year after year. And because of the way that the curriculum is designed, where it's a very tight and congested timetable, subject choices are always left to the last minute. And we want to start introducing all of this information to young people earlier on in their career journey. So going very quickly through the three different areas, we look at how we do it for our primary school product is it's essentially in preparation for our senior solution. So our senior solution has got these psychometric, scientific assessments based on very well-known and important assessment frameworks. And what we do is we create more age-appropriate quizzes but covering the same areas so that the person is getting orientated around all of this information before they get into the more sophisticated and advanced assessments through our senior product. So we look at interests, we look at strengths, we look at values, and we look at character and mindset development as part of the self-management piece of what we're doing. Then we leverage a lot of the information that we have on our senior solution. We just make the content a lot more accessible and age appropriate. We spend a lot of time helping young students or learners understand the different kinds of career pathways and career directions, as well as exploring the careers themselves through our career library. And then, as I mentioned, we introduce subjects. So we help them to understand the different kinds of subjects, what they entail, what career directions they're related to, and the kinds of skills that you would need to have to pursue those subjects. It's very much priming content and orientation for the individual. And then the transitioning into high school, we focus on skill development. And so how we do this for digital literacy, English literacy, and study skills is through these really amazing interactive games. So you play the games, kids love games, and we essentially are testing and developing the individual skills through repetition, through scores, and ultimately through leaderboards. Now, it's not just about the what, it's also about the how. So how do we deliver this content in a way that is going to lead to real change as well as knowledge transfer? And we do it through what we call micro learning, and we call them quests. So you come into the prep platform, and then you can see over here, I'm going to choose a specific quest, which is a topic or a theme. So now I'm in the interests quest. And then I go through a sequence of activities and steps where I go through some introduction videos and introduction content. I go through lessons. I take quizzes. I read through my report. I take MCQs. I can do activities and exercises, which are on top of the entire quest. And once the individual has gone through this quest, and their knowledge has been tested, you know that they have really gone deep within that particular topic or theme. So, we're not in the business of doing stuff at a superficial level. Sometimes the way that I describe it is we are a depth-based platform. So we really go deep in the areas that we believe is important. So that's Yenza Prep. Now I'm going to just touch on Yenza Senior. So this is for our grade 8 through 12 learners. This is what we've been doing very successfully for the last while. Did you have a question? Sorry.
I just wanted to quickly comment. There's a comment, and I wanted to ask for the comment. I thought it was a question. Pauline says, absolutely commendable. I was thinking there's a comment. Can you just quickly give us those 4 bullets again? You help kids with their interest, their strength, and I missed the last 2, their values and their mindset. These are not subjects at school, but most school leaders where I get to, they say those last 2, well, the last 3 is what's the problem in our schooling system. We are driving, just can I say visionless, because we're not certain what our value system is, our mindset is, and people are trying everything instead of focusing on their strengths. So for me, this is a critical thing to making sure that the whole school world works. So yeah, I just wanted to tie those to my interest, strengths, values, and mindset. And I think, as Pauline says, absolutely commendable. Why those 4 things? It's not skill, it's not intellect, it's not aptitude. Why those 4 things?
I could give you another hour presentation on why these 4 things. But if I was to try and summarize it, um, it's very young people don't actually understand properly what interests are, number one. And interests are, there's different words for it. Interests can be curiosity, and that feeds into one's passion. And understanding that gives you the fuel for what's below that, which is your motivation. And so that's on the one side. Then on the other side, you need to understand what different kinds of values are and what your values are, because then you can
Like,
start making fundamental choices that are aligned to what you deem is very important.
yeah.
And
I think
then,
we'll have to do that
yeah,
hour session sometime, but
okay,
interrupted you now. But for me, those are critical things, and I think that the audience just need to highlight those.
cool.
Mm.
So the last thing I'll add on the slide, seeing as though you open it up, is that on the strength side, what we are trying to educate young people on, very, very importantly, and you see this come through in the reports themselves, is there are different kinds of strengths. There's mathematical and logic strength. There's linguistic strength. There's visual spatial strengths. There's bodily kinesthetic strengths. There's musical
Yeah.
strengths. And so it's very important for us to normalize and educate young people on, oh, if I'm not good at maths, I'm stupid or I'm dumb. That we have to get out of the way very early on, and we do that through that particular assessment. Cool.
Yeah.
So moving on
Mm.
to the senior platform. So this is where we have been operating with a lot of success over the last 5.5 years. Um, we are in about 180 schools now across the country. Not a single school has left us from joining us, so that is a big badge of honor that I like to mention. And then on this platform, we have career assessments. So these are the more sophisticated assessments that we do. Then we analyze individuals' data, and then we personalize career guidance. So we match individuals to careers that they're best suited for. We have an incredible subject choice tool, and it is subject choice season. So one of the best tools and features that are used on the platform is our subject choice tool that we use to support grade nines. And then for our grade 11s, we mapped the entire tertiary landscape. So we make it very easy for grade 11s and 12s to figure out where to study. We have hundreds of free online courses that you can develop those foundational skills, CV and resume builders, the ability to access the latest bursaries and different kinds of opportunities. And then for schools themselves, we have this data dashboard. So I summarized it for you already, and I'm going to move through these slides relatively quickly. But you'll see one of the areas that we are really regarded as leaders is in our assessments. They're all very mobile friendly. They're super fast. They're easy to administer. They're multilingual. You can take our assessments in English, Afrikaans, Xhosa, and Zulu. The reports are lesson guided, interactive, very visual, and very enjoyable. And Mandy, who's on the call now, she sits in with the schools so often, and the feedback that we get when we were watching these kids go through our assessments and learn about themselves is really, really amazing. This is the area that we enjoy the most. Another area that we have become very good at, and we were given a 97% out of 100 score from the Education Alliance in Finland, which is the gold standard for learning design, is that our platform is designed in a way that is very engaging and interactive and motivating for young students. So we do not suffer from the issue of the students are bored or the apathy or uninterest. It's very difficult to get that kind of attention from students, and we manage to do that through the way that we've put our content together. We also make sure that our platform is designed in a way that supports you, the teachers, who we call guides. So the platform and the backend platform is designed to save time for teachers, to surface necessary insights for teachers, to support conversations, and as I mentioned before, also bringing the parent a lot closer into the process through their own parent portal. And this is something that we're bringing very soon to the platform, where we're introducing a lot of additional developmental guidance. So once you have the student's profile and they've taken our assessments, you can get some very interesting insights on how the learner takes feedback, handles tight deadlines, handles stress, how to motivate them, how to communicate to them. All of this helps when it comes to really guiding, motivating, and inspiring students in taking a far more personalized approach to what is essentially holistic development. And then, as I mentioned before, we have all the data analytics on our backend dashboard, where you can see things like the subject choices across your schools or your grades, the tertiary preferences, the career preferences. You can break all of this down at a school level, at a group level, as well as access individual learner reports. And then we're bringing some additional data and insights to the dashboard as well. So from an administration and from a data insights perspective, again, I think we are really leaders in the space. Now to the last area of what we're offering, and this is something that is very hot off the press, and we're starting with our first cohort in July, is Yenza Academy. So this is us being able to offer online courses. We see it as a alternative learning pathway for individuals to gain an internationally recognized qualification and thus an internationally recognized career. And I just wanted to go back to these statistics around the capacity issue and just show you these are actually 2023 statistics, and I'm waiting for the 2024 ones, but I believe it's even worse. But just look at that top number there. University of Johannesburg in 2023 received 690,000 applications for 10,000 spaces. So we really do have a capacity issue, and it's very frustrating for parents and frustrating for students to know that even if they get decent to good marks out of high school, there's a good chance they might not even be able to get into university. That for me is a crying shame, and it's something that we are going to look to address ourselves as well. So right now, these are the pathways that we're offering. A general business, so think of it like a BCom, general computing and programming, so full stack end-to-end programming from front end to back end to database management, systems analysis. Psychology, that's a very, very difficult faculty to get into, so we're excited to be launching that. Hospitality and tourism, and this is also a very attractive place. Sorry, just one second. Hospitality and tourism is a very popular program, as well as education. Now, how it works with us is that you've got 3 levels, and these are essentially stackable qualifications that you can attain depending on the level in which you start with us. Level 3 is, if you complete your level 3, it's the equivalent of an A levels in the UK or an equivalent of a matric NQF level 4. Now, I mentioned before that you can start with us at the age of 16 if you so choose. And so it's similar to a TVET college in that way, where the individual doesn't have to go through that FET phase, and they can start with us at the level 3 phase. If the student is finishing grade 12 and has got their NQF level 4, then they can start at the level 4 phase with us. And the level 4 is the equivalent of an NQF level 5. I know that's tricky with the numbers. And there's an exit point at each one of these levels. So once you've completed your level 4, you've made your final submissions and you pass, you get the extended diploma with the NQF equivalency, and you can go on your merry way and apply for whatever job it is that you would like. If you want to continue on that pathway, you do the level 5, and then you are enrolled with Yenza Academy across level 3, 4, and 5. And at the point in which you want to complete your degree, that is when you work with our partner universities. But before I go into that, I just want to mention our accreditation that we're offering. So we have got the exclusive distribution rights of the ATHE and Qualify accrediting bodies. They come out of the UK. It's one of the top accrediting bodies in the UK that is recognized by SAQA. And we have got students already that have got their NQF level equivalencies from SAQA. And so we are offering this as an international accreditation through us. And we are their online training center for South Africa. Now, part of the value add to what we're doing is we're offering a direct pathway for students to complete their studies and get their degree through our partner universities. And the key thing to understand here is that once you've gone through our 3 levels and you've completed your level 5 with us, you are guaranteed acceptance to our partner universities. So you don't get pitted with everyone else, and you don't get, considered with the other thousands of applications. They guarantee your acceptance to complete your degree, and you can either do it online or you can do it on campus with them. This is the point in which the student becomes enrolled in these universities. And we have a lot of other affiliate universities as well, which is not in this presentation, but you'd be able to see all of the universities on our website. And then how it works is the program delivery happens online through our learning management system, very flexible. So one of the key things for us here is that it needs to be very flexible timetables. You can study online from anywhere. And the course is designed to be far more practical. So it's very much focused on projects and submissions. There are no exams. So there's no exam timetable. There's no set date in which you have to complete your exams. We obviously want students to be pacing it the right way to complete all the modules and the various units. But it's all very practical project and submission based curriculum. Then what we also do is we're offering academic support through our mentors and our domain experts. And what I'm very excited about is very soon we will be offering financial assistance as well. The program is very affordable as it stands. We've got 2 packages that cost either 3,000 Rand a month or 5,000 Rand a month. And we're offering some additional early bird discounts into that. But we know that affordability is a real thing. And so we are working very hard with some financial services companies and other education lenders to offer financial assistance. And that is the whirlwind of Yenza. And I hope I didn't overbear you with too much information, but I just wanted to give a nice round the world in 30 minutes, which is what I was told the time that I had.
Yeah, we've got time for questions and discussions, and there's some comments. I think alarming statistics about 10,000 people finding space out of 650,000 applications. And yes, where do we create the capacity? I've got I see Pierre's hand. I'll take that question now. I've got a question. How can schools, or how do we, the question was we, I'm assuming a school, integrate Yenza best from primary school to just about university age? What is the success factors that you've seen in the 180 odd schools to make sure that this becomes live? I see in subject choice season, suddenly it's a crisis and people pay $600, $2,000, whatever,
More
for
like
a
that,
test.
Yeah,
Because it's, oh my goodness, I've got to do a once-off test. I can't make a wrong decision, but I did not do the pre. What is the best practice as a first question, and then I'll open Pierre's question. How do we position it best in school?
Yeah, so look, we know obviously that schools, a lot of schools have got primary and secondary, and the way in which Yenza Prep is designed is it's supposed to be in preparation, not just for high school, but in preparation for our senior solution. So what we've done now is we've gone to all of our high schools, we've shown them Yenza Prep. And by the way, the only reason we actually developed Yenza Prep was because we got so many primary schools asking us if we had some kind of grade 7 or grade 6 offering that touches on a lot of these things. So they do introduce the world of work in grade 7, a little bit in grade 6, and then there's a lot around the self, and there's a lot around foundational skills and study skills. And so we wanted to bring that all together, and we have been frustrated ourselves in what I mentioned earlier around the high school curriculum and timetable is so tight. And we feel like even though schools have used us year after year, there's not enough time that is dedicated for the students in the class to really get the most value out of the platform. So we wanted to extend that whole experience where Yenza Prep is designed as an orientation for Yenza Senior so that people really get Yenza Senior by the time they get into using that platform. Now, what we've also been frustrated with is that we haven't had very tangible solutions or offerings for your grade 11s and 12s. For the grade 9s, we do, because the grade 9s come into the platform and they get a tremendous amount of value out of our subject tool. So that's like our premium tool. Schools love it. It really helps facilitate subject choice. There's a very tangible and clear outcome for us in that respect. But for grade 11 and 12, we felt like we've just been passing the buck. So now what we will be doing is obviously promoting Yenza Academy with our schools. We do online webinars, we do sessions with parents, and we promote it directly through the platform. And it will also be promoted through the parent portal as well. So the fact that we own and operate all of these platforms means we can very seamlessly integrate and communicate the value chain. This is all very new, so I can't say I've got the exact playbook for it, but I've got an idea of probably how it will play out.
Okay, brilliant. Pierre, you can open your mic and join the discussion. Pierre is a colleague of mine in the Eastern Cape. Question?
Yeah, thanks, Riaan. Good afternoon, Jared. I just got a few questions. The cost of this program, because if I look at the majority of learners in the Eastern Cape and so on, is coming from a underprivileged background and so on, and they are the people that's going to need a program like this. The next thing that I want to know, is are you registered with SAQA, ETQA, and Umalusi? Because there's different subject paths and stuff that you have. The information that you gave us is scary, and I know from my experience when I was in curriculum that a big percentage of learners are sitting in grade 12 having not passed any phase on their own, and so on. So that's what a few of the questions. And then another thing, because I see you are involved in schools already, was there any discussions taking place with the different education departments on how you can support them, to provide a better education and assistance for the learners and the teachers?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks, Pierre. There's a lot in there. I'll try and touch on it. Or in a nutshell, how much does it cost? It depends on what platform you're talking about. The primary school product lands up costing between 50 to 100 Rand per student. The senior solution, depending on the size of the school, can land up costing between 150 to 350 Rand per student, and they get lifetime access to the platform. So it's a once-off fee for 150 to 350 bucks. And we'd like to think that that is quite affordable, not for everyone, I recognize that, but relative to the value and relative to the alternatives, it's a very, very affordable price. Then Yenza Academy is a whole different beast because it's a fully qualified diploma. There's a proper fee associated to that. And so a funding model for that is necessary. Working with the government, we have tried amicably. We are currently working with the DBE. with their GEC initiative, so that grade 9 leaving certificate initiative. They're utilizing our assessments in one of their data-free platforms to help with career pathing for grade 9s. And we're doing that work pro bono. Very, very difficult for us to contract with the provinces. We've tried with the Western Cape. We walked the mile with Gauteng, didn't go anywhere. So we like our business model is we obviously go and sell to private and independent schools that can typically afford, and then we look for sponsorships and subsidies for your public schools. We've done this with Standard Bank. We've done this with Old Mutual. And so they've, cumulatively have sponsored about 30 plus schools themselves. We're looking to tap into more CSI funds in the corporate sector, but takes time and is not easy. So, we can't do anything for free. And we've done our very best to make it as affordable as possible. And working with government is tremendously difficult, unfortunately.
The question was accreditation, but I think you mentioned that
So we're not registered with SAQA. Our entire accrediting body is obviously from the UK, but we have got letters from SAQA as well as the confirmations from SAQA saying that they recognize us and the equivalencies of the certificates that we offer, the qualifications that we offer. And we've had students through our partners who have been operating in South Africa successfully do this for their students for a number of years. So we're not doing this from scratch. It's just that we are the new kind of distributors of the programs.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. Jared, quick question as we wrap up. I don't see someone just saying thank you and this is valuable information. I think for me, the question is how do we deploy and call to action? There's very little new money in a school, but there's existing money. So public schools, and there are those that run their own budget. A lot of our members, parents are paying for a similar service. And I'm not saying they should stop paying for that, but parents are paying 10 times the value of $100, $150 for a test for a once-off. The model is either business to business. Yenza can sell to the school, and the school can manage this, deploy this, and integrate completely. That's what I call the business to business model. And I think that's why we're talking to schools. Make sure that you put all your effort on fertile soil, because you might be teaching the wrong person in the wrong class for the wrong skill.
Yeah.
And but there's also the business to consumer. The parents through the school can pay this fee.
Yes,
it's not necessarily a school fee, but the school can facilitate this, or a parent can go onto Yenza Careers and sign up. So even if your school does not do this, the parent is not limited to the fact that the school didn't sign up. Is that right? That's
right. Thank you for mentioning that. So that's actually an important point. So we do get schools coming back to us that say, we love what you guys are doing. It's great, but we can't afford it. Can we put like a webinar together for our grade 9 through 12 parents to join? And then we do the presentation for them, and then we give them a discount. So we would offer like a 30-40% discount, something like that. FEDSAS members get a very handsome discount. So if you look on our website, our main package for our senior product is $9.99 with all of the assessments and the skills courses and the CV builders and the opportunities and all that stuff. And so we throw in a very handsome discount for FEDSAS schools, and we'll throw in a handsome discount for FEDSAS parents. And we're happy to kind of have those conversations.
Right stuff. Jared, maybe a last comment from me. Critical thing which I think I want to highlight for schools. Every time that FEDSAS talks data, we get a lot of traction in the discussion. And I see you mention a parent portal, and the school gets a data dashboard.
Yeah.
Data is the gold of the current gold and gold of the future. The more kids we have on this platform, the more we'll get data, the more we get insights, and suddenly we can steer a school applying its resources correctly. We can
Yes.
steer children in the right direction. Maybe just in 2 minutes, tell us about your data mining or data warehouse and the process of that.
Yeah, so our data dashboarding and insights is phenomenal. Essentially, the school gets access to the entire school's information, and then you can restrict access based on grades. And then what you're seeing there is you're seeing adoption, signups, logins, the basic stuff. And then you're seeing the assessment results. You're able to access all the various individuals' assessment results through the back end, the careers that they're interested in, the tertiary courses that they're interested in, the subjects that they've chosen. And then you can start slicing and dicing that information based on cohort distributions, different grades. And you can utilize that information for what I showed in one of the slides, which is then to say, okay, well, how do we best personalize our pedagogy and our learning approach for our cohorts that have different kinds of learning styles, different kinds of personalities, different kinds of values, different kinds of interests? This is all very valuable behavioral data that you can then use to both personalize the learning as well as figure out, okay, well, this new crop of grade 9 clearly are very business orientated. What are we going to do around supporting them in their business endeavors versus trying to shove down their throat the sciences, as an example? And that can inform career days and who you invite, the different faculties that you invite from universities. And instead of playing this shotgun approach, you're actually using data to match supply and demand, essentially.
Sure. I like that. We've come to the end of our discussion today, Jared. I think we can discuss for hours. I truly appreciate what you guys are doing. I think it's groundbreaking work. As I said, my daughter has done the senior, and we just opened the dashboard 2 days ago because she's in grade 9. She's in the season of subject choices, and I read the report. I'm like, she's more of what she was 2 years ago when she did it the first time, the thinker and the creator, than she was then. So just put the seed in the ground. So thanks for that. And our school also just triggered the whole school to get access. And Mandy is going that route. So I'm really a firm believer and supporter, and I hope that the work that you're doing is fruitful for us. So I just want to end with any questions, call me, mail me, Riaan@fedsas.org.za. Jared is available on Yenza.careers, I think is the website, but also in the magazine that we shared earlier, you can get contact details there. But yeah, just find us online, Jared@yenza.me. So if there's any questions, let's keep the discussion going. This recording will be shared with everyone that registered, as well as the info sheet. So thanks for your time. Thank you for the participation and yeah, valuable session, and have a great day where you go. Take care, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Riaan.
Well,
bye.